So
I've already covered everything.
yeah. So I use this this width. This is a 10 centimeter or 4-inch width. This is a 15 centimeter or 6-inch width. For a leg, I wouldn't use anything smaller for those. I typically won't use a 6-inch for this because it's hard to contour when you've got that much width. If you've got a 2-inch, it's easy to contour, but you don't cover much real estate. So for me, this is the most common width that I would typically use for somebody. Sometimes with this transfemoral, you might use these, but again, I kind of feel like you can create the angles that you want a little bit easier with having the narrower wrap. Now we've got the need to go to the bathroom, and we need to not cover that area, but we also don't have some femoral condyles to anchor this on. So to anchor it, we've got to go around their waist, and so that makes it kind of tricky. What I would typically try and do is have my path that's going to come around the waist come from this side and then go around their backside and then come down. Because if you're coming this way across, invariably you're going to have it right where they might need to go to the bathroom. But if I can have it coming this way, then I can keep it out of the way a little bit. It does have to go really, really high up there. We don't want what's called an adductor bulge. An adductor bulge is if all your wrapping was ending here. It's going to push all that tissue and all that edema right here, and you're going to have this lump of soft tissue that then when they try to get into their socket and have it seated all the way in there, because that socket's got to go basically all the way up to the ischial tube and all the way up to the pubic bone, essentially, is where it's going to hit them. And so if we've got that adductor bulge, they can't get the whole limb down in the socket as deep as they need to. So we need to compress pretty high up into the groin. So the same pattern applies. Again, trying to kind of come at your diagonals. And again, we can't abduct. I would normally ask them to abduct a little bit. Come through here. And now I can probably use this pass to, no, I don't want to do the waist yet. I could if this one's high enough that I could, but again, it's kind of problematic there. So I'd probably do one more pass here, and then come up with this one right here. And you can make your anchoring one either with your first bandage or your second bandage, because you're going to need at least two. Probably better to do it with your second one, because then the top bandage is going to help secure the one underneath it. So I'm doing it with the first one, which, like I say, normally you might want to stay. It's a good one.
Well, isn't the second one gonna, or it might kind of fall off or fall down?
The second one, so if
you're not gonna anchor the second one.
right, if I'm not anchoring the second one, there's nothing holding the second one from separating from the first one.
Yeah.
So yes, in an ideal world, I probably would just, so let's continue this one. We'll break it off the waist, and we'll make the second one be the one that.
Because then it just kind of seems like it invalidates the point of anchoring the first one.
Marco, why you gotta be so smart? Just kidding. It's good.
All right, so we're going to come back around here. So I've got this gap here that's not good. And, well, I think I switched the direction of my roll when I think you did. So now I've got it going the wrong direction. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to continue this one until it runs out. Again, this is a horrible spot for Velcro. That'll be fine. Not irritant at all in there. So now I'm going to capture this side because I didn't capture this side first.
If the Velcro's on the bottom, does it matter? Though? Like that's the bottom layer. Does it matter to still have it there?
Not as much as if it's the top. I would never, I pretty much never use ones with Velcro, so I'm not really used to dealing with the Velcro issue.
Shaved before the surgery.
So what he's saying is don't use Velcro. Yeah, cut the Velcro off.
Avoid Velcro and the little clips.
Velcro's better
Those
than the
are
clips, I
boogers.
would say, but yeah, you definitely want to kind of stay away from them both. All right, so now I'm in a good spot to come up there. Now I can come around the waist and get my anchor strap, and now I'm ready to come back down.
You only need to anchor it like once?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I've still got this one little patch here to cover. So I've only got one layer there on that tip. So I'd probably want to go with one more layer over the top to kind of smooth things out and get a little bit more even pressure. But the figure of 8 pattern is the same. It's just way harder because you have a lot more space on the side than you do on the outside than you do on the inside, and it's just harder to get that good coverage. I would probably let me do one more so I can show you how far up it really should probably come. You can probably go here again.
How often do you change these ones?
It's going to depend on the setting that you're in and how mobile the person is. If it's a person that's kind of up and around and in their wheelchair and stuff a lot, then you might have to change it on a somewhat regular basis, like every couple hours. And it's one of those things where we're going to teach the family member how to do if it's an outpatient type of setting. And we're only doing it, like say, for the first 2-3 weeks, typically. Hopefully after that, they're going to get into their shrinker and be set with that.
Do we teach the patient,
It's really hard as a patient to wrap yourself.
even on the lower extremity?
Yeah, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to have an even pressure. It's really hard to get good coverage on everything.
Dang flabbit.
What's that?
He said dang flabbit and it just keeps going on it.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, what?
New Haven? You're from Texas.
Dang flabbit?
Hannah Montana.
Yeah, Hannah Montana. You've never seen Hannah Montana?
Oh,
I can't say that I have.
Johnny.
Nope, Johnny's not wanting
I
to
don't
get it
believe
in front of me, but he probably
Not for
he
a
got the
second.
whole DVD series, I bet. Alright. So we're gonna go with that like that. We were.
Throw in the towel, man. Just throw it in.